In Conversation with Terry Shepard, award-winning broadcaster, narrator, and author. A deep dive into the writer's craft with the artists and support systems who create the stories we love.
Gail Meath is the author of the multi-award-winning Jax Diamond Mysteries series, the story of a wisecracking ex-cop turned PI, his sweet German Shepherd partner Ace, and his Broadway singing heartthrob Laura, as they solve crazy crimes during the Roaring '20s. Her newest Jax Diamond mystery is KILLJOY. In 1923 New York City, the suspicious death of a chorus girl sends Jax and Ace to the oldest theater on Broadway. At the murder scene, they stumble upon a clue too bizarre to share with the cops or with Jax's sweetheart, who would definitely make a haunted mountain out of this eerie little molehill. Gail, welcome to the program. Give us the backstory on how Jax Diamond came to be.
My mom and I used to watch. She was a huge movie fan, and old movies, Cary Grant, Clark Gable, Katharine Hepburn, all those movies. And so I remember Saturday afternoons, we would sit together. Of course, they'd be on TV and watch them together for years. I just love the era. So I was trying to go for that. But the 20s is huge in the cozy mystery genre. And a lot of them are British cozy mysteries. I think they kind of own the genre. But so we're branching out. So I went to New York City in 1920s, which was a fun era with everything good and bad going around there. So that's how I got on that.
You've said that covers often inspire your writing. Was that the case with the first Jax Diamond story?
With Songbird, I found it a year and a half before I even started writing the book. It was a pre-made. And I found it from Sherry McGaffey. She's a cover designer. But I saw the pre-made. I bought it from her, I think $50. And I just saved it. And I said, I'm going to do this someday. And then when I got in this mood to write something later, that cover was just, and that cover's been very popular. More popular than some of the other ones, but it's funny because and so then from that day forward, I always make the cover first to get the feel of what the book's going to be about. And then I write a book around it.
What are some of Jax Diamond's character traits?
I started just thinking about that, kind of that dry, humored, straightforward, and I started out with Jax and his best friend Tim, who's the cop. I don't know how you write, but I don't do an outline. So I get the character in my mind and just started writing. Well, the first chapter was just about the murder, and then the second chapter just having Jax come in and doing what he did, investigating, and just one thing leads to another, and as I write. And then I brought Laura into it and their friends into it. And so I never know where the story's going to go. I know it's going to have a happy ending. I never know who the murderer is till probably a chapter or two before the ending. Okay, no. Who was good for this? So
Gail Meath is our guest. KILLJOY is the name of her latest Jax Diamond mystery. And Gail, you are the dictionary definition of a pantser. You create by the seat of your pants.
I know I should probably be more organized, but it's more fun because then I can switch it on a dime and change it up, and I do, or I'll. My husband can tell you too, Jim. I'll sit there and I'll go, oh my gosh, I don't know where to go next. And then all of a sudden, oh, and he goes, you got an idea, don't you? I was like, yeah, perfect. And I run inside. So it's pretty much page by page.
Jax Diamond's partner is Ace, and she's a German Shepherd based on a very important member of your family.
So my dad was an artist, so we used to go down the creek, and he used to paint pictures, and this German Shepherd followed us, and I just fell in love with them. So I knew I wanted it. When I grew up, I wanted to live in the country, and I wanted a German Shepherd. That's all I wanted my whole entire life. And we got married, my first marriage, and we lived in Penfield in one of the towns in a small house, and I had the two kids. And we ended up selling that and building a house out in the country on these 18 acres. And the minute we moved in, I got my Gretchen, and just a little puppy, and I got her in Jamestown, just south of Buffalo. Dealt with this trainer who told me, okay, you have to press the paws to see if they're very, if they're going to squeal, if they're afraid of lightning, if they're afraid of sounds, drop keys, all of these. I had 12 things I was supposed to do. I didn't do one darn thing. Gretchen this little puppy kept following me everywhere I went, and I just picked her up and brought her home. She was my best friend. My husband was gone a lot, and she helped me raise my kids, and she saved my life because I couldn't have stayed in the marriage without her. I mean, she was just everything to me. And my editor wrote to me and she said, okay, I don't think that a dog can untie a sock or whatever. I go, no. You're talking to somebody who saw it. She did it. And so, I used a lot of her personality and everything in Ace, and family dog, but protector.
You are a woman writing a male protagonist. How did that come about?
Oh, I don't know. I and it's funny because all my other books were historical romance novels, and all of them had a lead female. She was the heroine, and then there was a man in there. This is the first time I've done that. I think, I'm not sure how that happened, because a lot of the cozy mysteries, they all star a female. I think I was just the movies and watching the movies, and always the male character was, the Clark Gables, Cary Grants, the Humphrey Bogarts were always the leading male. And
many cozy mysteries take place in the 1920s, as does your Jax Diamond series. What is the appeal of that time?
Such a fun era. You could do so many things with it. You could have a crooked cop. You could have, something, especially nowadays, you don't want a lot of crooked cops because of the way socially, current events, and you got to be careful. But back then it was the norm, and gangsters and rum runners and all kinds of things. So it was just a fun era.
In your next Jax Diamond mystery, Killjoy, Jax must contend with a ghost. Perfect for Halloween.
It's a true story. That's why researching some of these things. The ghost in this book is a true ghost. It's still haunting the New Amsterdam Theater in New York City. She's been around. She was a chorus dancer. She was an actress. I never heard of her before. Olive Thomas, and she was hugely famous and died at a young age. And to this day, Disney even, one of the CEOs at Disney had an experience. I mean, it's just really cool. The way up to currently, they have a picture of her up there. The actors and stage hands all tap her picture or wave to her or say hello to her every time they come in the theater.
You're switching gears and decades with a new series called Tinseltown Mysteries. Tell us about that.
The first book is 2 Tickets for Murder. It's about Vivian Swan and Preston Stone. She is a mysterious type of woman, a divorcee, and she's going to have a stepdaughter. I don't know too much about it yet, Terry. I got to get going on it. And Preston Stone is man about town in Hollywood. He's wealthy, but they're both hiding some very, very secrets, lots of secrets, and they don't know each other is holding secrets. So,
you are a very prolific author, Gail. How long does it take you to create a book?
I'd like to give myself more time, but I don't want to lose readers, and I'm not a huge bestseller, yet, but not that I expect to be. But so I don't want to lose their interest. So I want to get them out there fairly quickly, as quick as I can. I found summer's a tough time to write, because I started this Killjoy in the end of May, and it's like, oh man, I struggled over the summer. It's like I gotta get a couple chapters written because I'm way behind. But usually 4 or 5 months. If I can give myself 4 or 5 months, that's plenty of time. But I mean, I can sit down and it can take me a week to write 1 chapter, and then I can sit down and write 3 chapters in a week. It depends on how things are going, where my mind is, how the weather is outside. The weather has a lot to do with it. In the winter, I tend to write faster because there's not much else to do.
Gail Meath is our guest. She writes the Jax Diamond mysteries, and her newest is KILLJOY. Gail, there was a long interval between the time you wrote your early stories and you published them. What took you so long?
I never expected to be a writer. I started writing when I was young, but the first book I wrote was during the first marriage. I was not very happy, and I was home a lot, and I was working, but I needed an escape. So I basically wrote for myself. I took a creative writing course a couple times and had a blast, but not a lot of experience. So for me, it was just therapy. It was like each of my first books, I can tell you exactly where I was in my life, and it helped me through. I enjoyed it. I was consumed by it. You know how you get when you just get so consumed at time. I was something, oh my God, 6 hours have gone by. Didn't even know it. And so it was wonderful. It helped me raise the kids. I never, I didn't neglect them at all. I was with them, and they would go to school and I'd write. And so I just wrote 7 books during that 20-year period and never did anything, never let anybody read them. They just were sitting on my computer and weren't going anywhere. And finally, it was 4 years ago, Jim, I was playing with a couple of them. I would go back, and he said, they're just sitting there. I want to do something with them. They're not doing any good on the computer. So I just ended up reading about self-publishing and started publishing them. So I published those and then started writing. The next one was Agostina Derrick. I was a newer written one. And then the Jax Diamond. So, but I never expected anybody to read them. And I was amazed that people liked them, that I had some talent. It never even occurred to me. I was too embarrassed to let anybody read. I know it sounds silly, but it's true. It was very personal, I guess, to me at the time. And then when I did it, it was like, get your first review, and it's a decent one. It's a good one. It's like, it was just one person liked it. Oh my God, I was just like so thrilled.
What do your readers tell you they like about your writing?
There's 3 things, I suppose. The characters. They really like the characters. They like the time frame, because the time frame, it's a lot of fun. And also the historical, because I do make sure every historical thing in there is accurately correct. I'm a real stickler for that. And it's tough because I'll be writing and, nowadays when you have cell phones and things like that, or computers, and you can come up and, okay, how are the telephones? But how frequent were the pay phones? Because they had pay phones, but they weren't on every corner. They weren't in every store, and not everybody had. And so little things like that you have to look up. And the internet is great, but it doesn't always give you every detail. What were the jail cells like? Were certain rules like the Fourth Amendment, and when did that come into play? And searching all those things, every little detail. I spent a lot of time researching, and probably when I start a book, I could spend a good month just researching. And then get in. And once I get all that behind me and just knowing things and knowing the era.
How can people interact with Gail Meath?
I have an email. I have a website, just gailmeath.com. My Facebook is Gail Meath Author. And I welcome people.
Gail Meath writes the Jax Diamond mysteries. Her newest is KILLJOY, and she's in the process of creating a new series. But never fear, there will be more of Jax and his intrepid partner Ace, the German Shepherd, in the future. Learn more about her at Gail Meath, GailMeath.com. KILLJOY.com. Gail, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Terry. Appreciate it.
In Conversation with Terry Shepard is a copyrighted presentation. All rights reserved. I'm Lisa Davis. Join Terry Shepard next time in Conversation.